Here is some important information about the words that you have been mispronouncing all these days. You're going to learn how to pronounce hundreds of words in this video. At the end of the video, I'm gonna give you some exercises for you to practice as well. So let's get started. Have a look at these words. I want you to pause the video and read them aloud. You may record your voice on a recording app. We'll come back to these words at the end of the video. There are many categories of verbs such as transitive and intransitive, main verbs and auxiliary verbs, regular and irregular verbs. Let's focus the last one, regular verbs. Regular verbs are the ones which end with ed for their past tense, which I call verb 2, and the same ed form for the past participle, which I prefer to call verb 3. Let us also quickly shed some light on regular and irregular verbs before we move on to the pronunciation of regular verbs that end with ed. Verbs like these are regular: play, played, played; clean, cleaned, cleaned; smoke, smoked, smoked; visit, visited, visited. As you can see, the verb 2 and the verb 3 end with ed, hence they are called regular verbs. Have a look at some examples of irregular verbs: speak, spoke, spoken; drive, drove, driven; buy, bought, bought; go, went, gone; ride, rode, ridden; sing, sang, sung. We don't use ed in irregular verbs. As you know, verb 2 is used when you describe past, like I went to cinema yesterday, I visited a friend last week, and verb 3 has lots of functions, like it is used in present perfect, like for example, I've seen the movie, and it is used as an adjective, like it is a broken window. It is used in passive, like Osama bin Laden was killed by America. There are many other uses of past participle or verb 3. I guess I can make a separate video on that. Now let's focus on how to pronounce words ending with ed. They can be divided into 3 categories. The first one, the ed is pronounced as t. The second one, ed is pronounced as id. And the final one, ed is pronounced as d. Let's look at the first category in detail. If these 6 sounds p, k, sh, ch, s and f happen before ed, the ed has to be pronounced as t. Let's see some examples. The words that you see between 2 slashes aren't phonetic transcription. I have written them to help you pronounce easily. So don't use them in writing. Shopped, slapped, wrapped. Please have a look again and tell me which sound you find before ed. It's pa, pa. Go by the sound, don't think about the spelling, because English is a non-phonetic language, which means there is no clear link between the spelling and the pronunciation. So here the sound is pa. If a pa sound is followed by ed, the ed is pronounced as t. I repeat: shopped, slapped, wrapped. Some more examples for this: dropped, slipped, popped. Similarly, if k sound is followed by ed, or if there is a k sound before ed, the ed is pronounced as t. Like for example, cooked, booked, talked, walked, smoked, locked. Next, if there is sh sound before ed, the ed is spoken as t. Like in these examples: washed, crashed, smashed, astonished, crushed. Number 4 in the same category is the sound ch. If there is cha sound before ed, the ed is pronounced as t. As usual, I'll give you a lot of examples. Watched, latched, hatched, marched, reached, stitched. The next sound followed by t sound in this category is s. If there is a s sound before ed, the ed is spoken as ta. Like for example, kissed, fixed. Remember, I told you, don't look at the spelling. The sound is important. Here, the last sound in fix is s, so it's fixed, expressed, crossed, processed. The last one in this category is the fa sound. If there is a fa sound before ed, the ed is pronounced as t. Like for example, stuffed, puffed, sniffed, briefed, bluffed, stuffed. In the second category, the ed is pronounced as id. Luckily, there are only two sounds here. Number one, if there is d sound before ed, the ed is pronounced as id. Like for example, needed, guided, ended, attended, added, extended. The second and the last sound in this category is t. If t is followed by ed, the ed is pronounced as id. In words like these: rented, minted, wanted, prevented, visited, protected. The last category is the easiest because you are going to read ed as d. What you need to do, just remember the 8 sounds I have spoken about in the first two categories. If a word ending with ed doesn't fall into any of these two categories, the ed is pronounced as d. I'll give you more examples. In words like these, the 8 sounds k, p, ch, sh, s, f, t, and d aren't there. So you can use the d sound at the end, like stayed, cleaned, called, and some more examples: listened, rubbed, carried. I repeat, all these words end with ed, but the ed is not preceded by any of the 8 sounds in the first two categories that we spoke. So we can pronounce ed as d. Just a quick review. If these sounds p, k, sh, ch, s, and f occur before ed, the ed is pronounced as t, like shopped, slapped, wrapped, cooked, booked, talked, washed, crashed, smashed, watched, latched, hatched, expressed, crossed, processed, stuffed, puffed, sniffed. If the sounds t and d are followed by ed, the sound ed is pronounced as id, like this: needed, guided, ended, rented, minted, wanted. If ed occurs after any other sound, not k, p, ch, sh, s, f, t, and d, it is pronounced as d. I mean, ed is pronounced as d. Example: rubbed, used, carried. So now you can tell me how to pronounce the words I showed you in the beginning. You can practice with me. Based, played, laughed, changed, waited, arrived, acted, engulfed, shipped, decided, impressed, poured, hoped, learned. Here is the list of 100 words that end with p, f, s, ch, sh, and k. Add ed in your mind and read the ed as t. First, you can practice with me. Later, you can mute the video and practice by yourself. Here we go. Helped, stopped, developed, jumped, tapped, grasped, shopped, swapped, snapped, topped, tipped, wrapped, shipped, trapped, dipped. Past, discussed, missed, expressed, pressed, assessed, guessed, crossed, focused, addressed, possessed, stressed, dressed, accessed, dismissed, witnessed, confessed, progressed, suppressed, blessed. Stuffed, sniffed, briefed, bluffed, staffed, puffed, engulfed, scoffed, snuffed, windsurfed, served, loafed, buffed. Approached, attached, bewitched, bleached, botched, branched, breached, detached, dispatched, ditched, drenched, encroached, enriched, etched, lynched, abolished, accomplished, admonished, ambushed, astonished, banished, bashed, blemished, blushed, brandished, brushed, cashed, cherished, clashed, crashed, crushed, languished, lashed, ravished, refurbished, relinquished, relished, replenished, published, rubbished, rushed, asked, attacked, hacked, hawked, henpecked, honked, hooked, kicked, knocked. So that's all for today. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button, because that's how I know that you like the videos and it gives me motivation to create more such videos. See you in the next video. Until then, you can watch lots of my videos and shorts on this channel. Follow me also on Instagram. I'm your English teacher Suresh. Goodbye.